Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I just ignore your weirdness.
I was pulling a face and he said it.
Oh,
It's not at you.
it's not. What is it at then?
My weirdness.
Oh, right. Okay, fair enough. Where was I? Oh, hello, everybody.
We only just started. That's so good. Doug's
We are
actually buried as well.
Yeah, Doug's under the blanket here.
Cooper's opening the curtains.
Cooper wants to go outside, but he'll survive. He's got to learn to tell me when he wants to go outside. That's his biggest downfall at the minute. I can't get my mic right. It's annoying me. Don't even know if I'm in shot. Gosh, it's all just a bit chaotic. I'm really
I started
tired.
the podcast as me and Cooper and Doug, and I think it might have gone better, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm really tired today, so I'm struggling. But anyway.
I'm not even tired, but because you keep saying you're tired, I'm like, yeah, I'm really tired. But I'm not.
Well, I don't know why I'm so tired, but it doesn't, it's fine. I'm here. We're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
We're showing up. Anyway.
You've got glitter on your eyelashes and it keeps catching the light.
Have I?
Yeah.
I wonder where that's come from.
No. You just sparkle.
It's just my inner
My
sparkle.
inner sparkle.
Yeah. Anyway, I haven't actually said it properly, but welcome back to the podcast. Welcome to another podcast. Let's just roll the intro.
Hello and welcome to Confetti Conversations,
the podcast where me and my sister talk all things weddings, wedding planning, and married life.
Okay,
we're all snuggly.
We're
the
in-
dogs
yeah.
are all snuggly.
we're in for a snuggly one today. It's like beautiful weather outside. You're in a lovely summer dress, and here I am I've got tracksuit bottoms on. I'm just cold and tired. But anyway, shut up about being tired. Right.
Anyone would think you have a job.
No.
This podcast needs to take off so she can stop whinging.
No, because then I'll moan about being tired for doing this, because then I'll make you do 2 podcasts a week, and then you'll get upset with me.
I work too. I don't edit, so.
Fair. You still haven't sent me the social media things.
I did
to
it.
post that today.
I know. I will do it. I did it, and then because I was sat in the garden, I screenshot it off. Not screenshot it. Screen record it off YouTube. I didn't have brilliant signal, so I didn't notice because it was so sunny. And then I made it all, and then you were like, "Oh, will you airdrop it because of the quality?" Then I rewatched it. I was like, "No, that is just the quality. I've got to do it again."
Yeah, because I want to start posting shorts on YouTube, guys, because they just do really well. Like, I've been posting some on my personal YouTube, and they've been doing really well. So thought, why not try it? So we're going to post some shorts on YouTube. So watch out for that if you're on YouTube.
Yep.
And hopefully that'll bring some new people along.
I think it's only Charlotte Mosley that watches on YouTube. Maybe Chloe.
No, we have
as well.
like 8 views on YouTube.
Oh, that's actually quite good.
Yeah,
Charlotte,
we do
Chloe.
really well.
Don't know who else is a YouTuber.
I'm quite happy with our YouTube viewings. I'm happy with all of our viewings, to be honest with you.
Yeah, TikTok does really well because I post all the time.
I mean, TikTok would be better if you did better. You need to do a posting schedule like I do.
I know. You stop huffing, please.
You
She's
can't
already
get
telling me
comfy.
off. I know. I need to schedule my whole life, to be honest.
Well, that's why I have to do it, because otherwise I just don't do anything.
I'm currently living in a living room of boxes of fake flowers and
Been there,
other accessories. I'm not going to say what they are.
done that.
Yeah, you did.
It's, to be fair, I had a whole room in my flat,
You could shut it away.
and it was perfect because it was my office / dressing room / wedding room, and it was so perfect because all I did is just have everything was there, and I could just, a lot of the DIY stuff I did actually do in the lounge because it was winter when we lived in the flat, and it was so cold, and only one of our heaters in the flat worked well.
It got you through, but it was an interesting flat.
It was an interesting flat. I kind of loved it though,
Yeah.
the character of it. Do you know what I mean?
I wouldn't call it character.
It was terrifying some days. I was in the bath once and somebody tried to get in the door, and I was like, oh gosh, that's a bit scary. But
yeah,
it was like, it worked. It served a purpose.
it was your first house as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was great for the wedding planning process, because had we not have, because otherwise we were living with Hayley, and it just I wouldn't have been able to do everything.
At the time, my control freak would not have coped with the mess, would it?
No.
That was more the problem. I'm much better now than I used to be.
And it did actually work really well. I mean, you didn't have Doug at the time, but you did have 2 cats. So
yeah.
like when you're doing wedding planning with animals around, a lot of the stuff you have to put away because they'll like, you know, if I was trying to do stuff with Cooper, he'd get bits and he'd run off with bits.
Yeah, I'm very lucky with Doug. He just doesn't care.
Yeah, well, I don't think Coops would if he was older, but because he's only a baby. Whereas like, and you had the cats, and the cats get into everything and walk on things. Whereas at the flat, I literally could, if I was halfway through a project and wanted to go to bed, I'd just leave it on the floor and then pick it up the next day. So it served a purpose.
Yeah.
But having that whole room just like dedicated to wedding stuff, like I had some shelves in there that had like all bits on them, and then I had like the crafted, like I organised it so, and I loved it. It worked so well for me. But yeah, it was a luxury to be able to do it. But yeah, it was quite fun.
Yeah.
Cute little flat that we had.
Yeah. It was good
Served a purpose. Anyway, we're not talking about that today. It's just where you're at really now at the minute, aren't you? You're all in the
stuff,
the big stuff, getting it all done now.
Yeah. Done my top table decoration yesterday.
I know. I saw that when I went to pick your dog up.
Oh,
it looks amazing. Yeah, really good.
Then I'm going to...
Your idea for that was perfect.
Oh, love it.
The box is just perfect.
Yeah, love that. And it means something as well.
And it'll be reused afterwards.
Yep.
Like mine sits on my shelf.
Yeah.
But I'll never take it out. Like I'll never take the flowers out of it.
No.
Whereas yours, you can like take all the flowers out, sell the flowers.
Yeah.
And then reuse it, or keep it like that for the summer and then put it back for Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. And then I've got to zhuzh my bouquets and...
Have you got to add in your additional colour, or have you done that yet?
No, I've got to do them.
Okay.
And then see what's left for other decorations.
Yeah.
Because my main ones are done.
Yeah. Just any additionals.
Any additional.
Have you added to your table decorations?
No.
No, not yet.
But this, honestly, that big box.
Yeah, you have so much
loads.
stuff. But I think you're better off having more than less.
And 1 or 2 of the extra colour in each will be enough.
Yeah. Because they're already perfect as they are. But you were happy with them as they are, your table decorations.
Yeah, they'll just look even better.
Yeah.
And then I want to keep some flowers for around signage.
Yeah, I would. Just to add to the areas. Yeah.
That's it.
Perfect. Well, that's all good. Talking about signage, I guess. Today we're going to talk about seating plans.
Yep.
So sort of where to seat people, I guess politics for seating people.
How you can do it.
How different ways of doing it. Table.
Do you need to do it?
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of different things to it. I mean, I'll start by talking about my table plan, I guess. So I had 9 round tables. It worked out quite well that I had, and my top table. Yes, I had 1 top table which had 6 people at it, and then I had, excuse me, and then I had 9 round tables. I think trestle tables would have been an option for me. I quite like the idea of trestle tables, like long tables going down the marquee. I probably have 3, but
that would have filled the space as much,
and it would have cost more because it's not standard to do that. Whereas it's standard to have the round tables in my venue.
I think we can have either.
I think the option, you can do it. It's just I think it would have I never asked the question because I just was like, round tables looks good. I'll go with round. I like the idea of having 9 because it was like an even number for me. It's not an even number, obviously, it's an odd number, but 9 odd numbers always look good in that kind of thing. Like if you're doing flower arranging, always have odd numbers of flowers. Like when you're arranging things on tables and stuff, odd numbers always looks really good. So 9 to me was a really good number. And I had. So what did we have? I went with our friends at the front. So I had number 1 was you and like my yard girls. Number 2 was my majority, well, basically all of my bridesmaids, uni girls, and Emma, my home girls. And then we had Sam's table with his best man, groomsman. Well, the other, obviously Ellis was a groomsman, but he was with you. And then we had his sister and her now husband, was at the time fiance, and his cousin. And then I think to fill that table, we then had his mum and dad's friends.
Yeah, was that where?
Yeah, it
Ange
was.
was.
Yeah, Ange and then Kathy and Roger.
Yeah.
They were all on that table because that table was like, it wasn't full. We wanted more on that table, so we ended up putting them on there.
Yeah.
And then behind that is when we started family. So we did our friends first, and then we did family. And then, so I think we had 5 tables of family, 3 from my side, 2 from his side. And then mom and dad had a table of friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was, for me, it was important to have my people closest to me, like have my bridesmaids, and same for Sam to have his groomsmen. So that was the most important thing, was to have our people closest to us, and then it was to have family. And family we kind of arranged randomly. We did like spotted in between, you know, we had a table of my family, a table of his family.
Yeah, you did.
A table of my family, a table of his family. So it's sort of, it wasn't like, oh, well, so-and-so's at the front and so-and-so's at the back. It wasn't like that.
Yeah.
It was just, it was like this family, this group of families going here, this group of families going there. And that's just kind of how we figured it out.
Yeah. Whilst you're talking about that, I'm trying to figure out what we'll do, but
It depends, I think, when you're looking at table numbers, it depends. I don't like splitting guests up. We've been split up before from family, and I personally didn't love it. I am at a wedding with my family to be with my family.
yeah.
I don't love being split up from them.
We have a funny situation now with obviously the wedding moving, that certain family members now can't come.
So it means you'll have to reshuffle.
Yeah, which we never got as far as actually doing the table plan. Me and Ellis couldn't figure out our numbers until we'd written it down on a table plan.
Yeah.
We couldn't figure out how many people we were going to have. So
wait there a second. Let me finish my
Yeah.
table plan, and then
Okay.
we'll come around to yours.
Okay.
Yeah. So for me, I wanted to group people together.
yeah,
And I wanted to keep people together who were in their right family. And I also didn't want to have massive tables. I think 12 on a round table is quite a lot of people.
too many elbows.
Yeah. 8, I think, doesn't quite fill it well enough, but I'll be happy with 8. 10 is the magic number for me on round tables.
Yeah.
So that's how we did ours. We had like mostly tables of 10, some were tables of 12, but mostly tables of 10, a few 8s. Yeah, a few 8s actually, which didn't look too bad.
I didn't notice.
Yeah, I think we did have a few 8s, but mostly 10s and 8s. Between 10s, 9s, 8s. I don't think we might have had one 11, but that might have been 2 kids, so didn't quite feel so
Yes.
bad.
Actually, it didn't end up being an 11. Because Finley didn't come. Wasn't it that one?
No, I think it was I can't remember. There was a couple that were bigger, but yes, that one didn't end up being as big. That was
Yeah.
one of my bigger tables, was one of my family
No,
tables.
but one of the cousins' children was sick.
No, our cousin's wife was ill.
Oh, I thought it was Finn.
No,
Oh.
Nina was ill, and then so that Tom didn't have to bring both of them. Finn
Okay.
stayed at home with her. So yeah, that's how we decided to do it. And to be honest with you, it was quite easy for us. It kind of just split really nicely, and everyone just kind of fell into the right places. And there was we had one of Sam's cousins wanted to be like on more of a friend's table than with his family. Not because he didn't want to be with his family, but he just wanted to be like with his cousins and, you know, that kind of thing. So he ended up moving after I'd done the table plan, but it wasn't a problem. It worked. It's that the numbers still balanced. If anything, it actually was better balanced.
Yeah.
So he did us a favour there. But yeah, it worked really well actually, and it wasn't a problem. I'll talk through what our table plan looked like on the board, but we'll do that afterwards. Let's go to your table plan.
Yeah. So, how I'm going to do it, as part of my wedding website, they have a thing that helps you plan your table.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So it'll take your guest list and then you assign them to a seat. It's really clever.
That's
and
so clever. I've never heard of that.
Yeah. So you can put it on you can put on what tables you want. So
Yeah.
if you want a sweetheart table, so just the bride and groom, or a top table, so we're having a proper top table of 6 like yours was.
Yeah.
We're not having best man and maid of honor on the top table because I feel like you want to be with Sam as well and friends.
Yeah, we didn't. It just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
To me, it just didn't make sense.
No. And it just looks a bit long.
And we didn't split up our mum and dad and his mum and dad. Sam's mum and dad sat on his side.
Yeah.
And my mum and dad sat on our side.
Yeah. And I think that worked nicely. So yeah, you can put that in. You can put in if you want long tables, round tables, oval, like you can put in anything.
Squares. Squares are quite big at the minute.
Yeah. How big you want the tables to be. And then you assign a seat, and then you then know you've got everyone in a seat because they've come off the guest list.
That's so clever.
Yeah, it's really, really clever. So I'm going to have a play around doing that. Guests all need to reply by the 1st of June if anyone hasn't done it yet.
So that's next week for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, next week.
So, but once that's done, I can do a provisional one.
Mm-hmm.
So then I know I can, because the thing is you can't do it until literally the week before, really. That's why getting one printed from like a printing company is risky.
Yeah, things always change with table plans, I think. People, like, there's always, like, somebody's fallen out with somebody wants to move, somebody's coming, somebody's ill. Like, to be fair, I never took out, my cousin was ill and she didn't come, and I never took her out because it was, like, the day before that I found out.
Yeah, and in that situation, you wouldn't. And we went to a wedding years ago, and someone was ill on our table, and actually the bride asked someone who was coming to the evening, if you're free, would you like to come to the day? And they ended up just being in their place as the other named and just had their meals, had their options. And
she changed it.
Did she change it?
She changed it, yeah.
I thought it still said Emily.
No, she changed it.
So she changed it on the morning of?
No, I think she found out a couple of days before.
Oh, okay. But literally, if you do that, fine. And I would always think if you find out on the day of or the day before, a couple of days before, someone's not coming, you've already paid for the meal.
Yeah.
You've already paid for the drinks. You don't get that back.
Yeah.
You might as well see if someone can come to the day.
Yeah, my problem was it was a child's meal and an adult's meal.
Yes,
and
so
I
it's a bit
had
harder.
nobody who would just like could have come on their own.
Yeah.
Like there was nobody I could have just been like, oh,
yeah.
do you want to come?
Yeah.
Or like to one of the others, like, can you guys share the kids' meal and the the adults meal?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a slightly different situation.
Yeah, that's the only problem I had.
Yeah, but I do think I will have, if I have anyone drop out for whatever reason, I will ask people, because if they're free, they might as well come and enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like you said, you've paid for it.
Yeah,
like, so long as they don't, you just have to say, you're just going to have to eat whatever's there.
They've got this option.
Yeah. Like, if it's a veggie, you're eating a veggie, unfortunately.
Yeah,
like,
that's the only risk, isn't it, with table plans? So that's why I won't be ordering one.
No.
It is something I'll be just printing.
Well, yeah, I just printed on like white paper, because I just thought if it changes, I want it to aesthetically look pretty, which we'll talk about it in a minute.
Yeah.
I want it to aesthetically look pretty, but I didn't want it to be like something that was going to take me forever to do.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where we're at. There's literally no point us doing it for a few weeks.
No.
We're well off it, but I want to picture how it's going to look when it is, got the hiccups, when it is done.
Yeah.
And I want to, like, I don't want just a board plonked on an easel.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I've got so many flowers. So I'm going to try and do like a flower thing around it and up the thing as well.
Yeah, mine was like a full display that like trailed you into the...
Yeah, no, mine won't be that bougie.
The wedding room, it had like a ladder with pictures of me and Sam on it, and then it had like with loads of different things. So it is. I do think it's a feature that you can. You mean you can literally just have an easel and a board, and it will look beautiful.
Yeah.
And I've seen it done like that so many times.
Yeah, and it does look nice. I don't want it to be too simple. A lot of the weddings that happen at my venue do have something fairly simple, because the wow factor is you'll get, because the way it is, yours was in a marquee, so there was everything was in one space.
Yeah.
Whereas for us, you're going to go into the the room. It's not a room, but I don't want to say what it is because it kind of gives away where it is.
Yeah.
And you go into that, and then how they display the table plan and the cake is there, but the room is the wow factor.
Yeah.
And I want that to be, and I want my table decorations, and I want my top table, and I want some of the draping that I might do, might not. I don't know, I haven't decided yet. I want those to be the important things.
Yeah, absolutely.
The table plan.
It's functional, not necessarily.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, like you said, if you did some like trailing flowers or something on it, or, you know, a little box somewhere on it, like it would look.
There's plenty of things you can do. Or we talked about your candles, like just to go around the bottom.
Yeah. A couple of
lanterns,
a couple of lanterns, maybe a crate, like something like that. A couple of pictures of you and Ellis, like,
yeah.
You know, it's so quick and easy to do. There's so much you can do with very minimal effort. Like I think a couple of lanterns, a couple of candles, and a crate makes a display.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's all we will do. And like we did for yours, we'll spend the day in the garden, put them together. Well, you think you did it in the flat in the end, didn't you?
I did it initially.
Semi-garden.
Yeah, initially I, with all my displays, to make sure that I was on the right tracks.
Yeah.
And at that point, I still needed to buy a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So I put it all out in the garden, photographed what I wanted it to look like, and then I like wrote down, with this display, I want this many crates, I want this many this, I want this many that, and then that was like a shopping list almost for me to work towards.
Yeah.
And then when I did it in the flat, that was like the last picture of it, and I then assigned, because everything was different, all the candlesticks were different, all the lanterns were different.
Yeah.
I then at that point was assigning which candlestick, which lantern, which photos, like what was going where.
Yeah.
And then that was like my final look at it. And then I took a photo of it, put all of that into one box. And then that box was then labelled as
that's the
Generations
I'm not
of
actually
Love.
Far off that now.
Yeah.
For like my tables, I'm really
to
not
be fair,
far
I
off
think
that.
I was where you are at in your wedding planning. I think that was probably, I was at about this point when I did it.
Do you have loads of this? Are you using all your boxes?
I need some, but I can wait and give them to you.
Well, I was just thinking, because I don't need any storage boxes for life, but this is the problem. You buy these things and you don't actually need them.
Yeah.
And then they just sit there.
Yeah.
Because I want an individual box for each table, like you did. And you put it on the table and you put it out, and that's it.
Yeah.
And it's so simple, and it was brilliant. And label the tables.
Yeah, all of those boxes, if I was to give you those boxes, they're all my craft stuff. I can't sacrifice them until much closer to the time.
No, but then that's fine. Then I'll just get my own.
Yeah.
They are useful boxes. But this, like, I think you can get so much stuff. But actually, I think that is one of the things you should do, is the boxes, write the table number on. And I don't know if you did it, but I've seen it. And I don't know if it was from you, with the table plan on the top. So who was sat where?
I didn't do that. All of mine was on a laptop.
Yeah, which is fine.
So
but
it
I
was
like
just
the
one
idea.
laptop that went everywhere, and it was just like, I think in the interest of, for me, not printing a lot, that's kind of I didn't print anything. Everything was all electronic, which is, it's personal. Like I probably would have done a wedding binder, but like a lot of it, especially if you're setting it up, you're there.
You don't need it anyway. Exactly.
Yeah.
I do just think for seating plans, it's quite good to have that printed.
Yeah.
And for caterers.
Yeah.
If they ask for it. They might not ask for it.
My caterers never, well, we didn't have individual
Specific meals,
food sent to each person. So it was never like, it didn't have to be, they knew all they wanted to know is where the vegetarians were, which table they were on, where the kids were, which table they were on. They didn't need to know specific seats, because it wasn't that sort of service, I guess. They weren't being, it wasn't being served
individual
to
meals,
you. It was all being put on the table. So they didn't need any of that kind of table plan in that respect. And yeah, I get it, and I think it's a good idea putting the table plan on top of the boxes. But it just, if you don't have time to do it,
no, it's
not going to change your life.
But it is useful. I think it'd be quite useful for me and how my brain works.
Yeah, I think it's personal preference. Like with the setup, I think if you're not, excuse me, if you're not setting up your venue, then
You need it.
absolutely you need everything done to the nth degree, especially if you're bothered by stuff like that. If you're not bothered whether, you know, you have one person here at the top closest to you or you have them facing you.
Yeah, no, I am fussy on that. So
yeah, I
was,
but I knew all of that and I knew I was going to be there, so there was never a problem of me needing to tell anybody.
I think because we don't know how I'm going to feel being pregnant, make it as most organised as possible, because I might have loads of energy that day or I might be absolutely shattered.
Yeah.
You just don't know.
Absolutely.
So that's my thing with table plans. Anyway, my idea.
Yeah.
How to display them then?
Yeah. Well, there's loads of different, just talking about tables, there's loads of different types of tables you can have. You can have your rounds, your squares, your ovals, trestle tables. You can have your trestle tables in an L shape and an E shape, 3 long ones. Like, there's so many different ways of doing it. You can also do it, we've been to a wedding before where it's like 6 to 8 people on one trestle table and they're all like dotted around. That works really well in a teepee. So there's loads of different options that you can have for tables. Think about what works best in your venue, whether trestle tables looks better, how it's going to fill the space, how the rounds are going to look, whether you like the look of them. Just think about how your space looks and how it feels, and also, is there a cost implication in changing the tables? Like, will that, because if you don't want to spend the money on it, then, you know, that's something you really need to think about.
Yeah.
So there's so many different options with your tables. You just need to think about which is going to work best for you. So with the way you display your table plan, obviously there's loads of different ways you can do it. I used a mirror. Actually, I don't know if you can see it, but the mirror that's in the back of this shot, I don't know if it's it probably is because it's above your head. And I did like a longer piece for a top table with our names on it, and then I did like just under A5 size with, I think I've spoken about this before actually, with the 9 tables, and it was just printed just in like a normal font, and then I had on the top of it, we saved you a seat, like on the cricket on the top of it,
on the mirror.
On the mirror, yeah. So it was, I knew I wanted a mirror, I knew I wanted a gold like edged mirror, and I just wanted to make it as easy as possible, easy to read, easy for people to find where they were sitting.
Oh yeah, don't go. I do quite like the crossword ones.
Yeah, I do. And I like the ones where they're like all in alphabetical order and you just find your name and then on it says what table you're on. Like, I do like those. But at the same time, you don't want to create a bottleneck as people walk into your venue, especially if it's a narrow area.
Yeah.
You don't want people to walk in and it be, you know, a line to find out where you're sitting.
They don't want people in the room where you're going to sit for very long, because they want the bride and groom to get in there and they want them to have an entrance, so that you want people to get in, sit down, especially if it's not the area where you're going to have like drinks, which it won't be for mine, it wasn't for yours.
No.
So you wanted people to move
Generally, it isn't. Generally, the where you have your drinks reception and where you have your wedding breakfast are 2 separate places, because it's like that moment when you walk into the room with
a wow factor.
Yeah. So generally, you will move.
Yeah.
From place to place. So you don't want anything that's too complex for people.
I do like the sunglasses walls.
Yeah, I like those.
And then on this arm, it's got your name.
Yeah.
And your table.
I saw a shot wall for sale the other day, and I thought of you. I thought that would be really cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can't have a shot anyway. Not that it really matters, but
shot water for Hayley.
Yeah, well, you could just have like a.
I saw a TikTok today, and it was like after the meal, having baby Guinnesses for all of your guests to start the evening, and I was like, yeah, if I wasn't pregnant, I would do that, because that we love a baby Guinness.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not buying them for everyone else if I can't have one.
That's fair enough. That is fair enough. You are gonna. Like, that's the only things I think. You're not bothered, obviously. You're not bothered about drinking and all that kind of stuff.
It will be everyone getting involved, having baby Guinness and things like that.
Yeah.
Like, I'll have my mocktails and I'll feel like I'm having a nice drink.
I think during the day you won't notice.
It'll be the night,
Yeah, the
and
nighttime. I think you'll be.
I think
like,
if Ellis gets steaming,
yeah, and you'll be tired,
Yeah.
and everyone else will have a second wing because they'll be drunk, and you'll be.
I might have to go off for 20 winks.
Well, if you do, you do. Like,
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's your wedding. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you'll either be carried on adrenaline and you won't even notice.
Yeah.
That you've not had a drink, or you'll crash. Like knowing you.
I think I'll crash. But because of the way we've planned it and we've got the little seating areas, I can go and sit there and play.
Well, you can sit down, play cards.
Yeah.
Like, you'll have so many people to sit down and chat to. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
You're not going to worry about
The
it.
day's going to go so quick anyway. I probably won't notice.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, your day will go slower because generally your day goes quicker when you're drinking.
True.
Which is a good thing.
True.
Don't moan about that.
Suckers, I get a longer day.
Yeah. Anyway, back to seating plans. There's all sorts of different ways you can do it. Obviously, Pinterest, Instagram, TikTok. There's a million different.
Looking at your venue.
Yeah, looking at
Their
different ways your
Instagrams,
venues.
Like,
yeah,
that's where I've got most of my ideas from.
yeah. I think especially if you have a unique venue, you don't need to. You can do whatever you like, but personally, I think if you've got a unique venue, going with something that is unique and goes with the vibe is better, in my opinion, than going for something that is not gonna not gonna fit the vibe, not gonna go with the vibe.
Yeah, and things like if you've got a theme for your table names, you can theme your table plan.
Yeah,
I can't say mine, but one day we will. But like, you always see like the Formula 1 ones that's got the tracks on and they've got the pictures of the tracks. They're really cool.
Yeah, I love them.
Our friend did pub names. So the table plan didn't have that as a theme, but it was on the tables. Trying to think of other ones people have had.
People do all sorts. Like,
you just did numbers, didn't you?
I just did numbers, yeah, because we did the baby photos of us.
Yes, when
like
we were
it
one,
wasn't.
when we were two,
yeah. It wasn't the table number, like it wasn't relevant to the table. It was just like an additional thing that I just liked.
Yeah, it's cute.
But yeah, you can literally do anything. You can have arches, you can have wooden walls, you can have
crates, not crates, what they call pallets.
Pallets, yeah. Like I said before, my friend had an acrylic football pitch. Like literally whatever you want. I think having a table plan is a necessity if you have a seating plan. People need to know where they're sitting.
Yeah.
You can't just expect them to wander around and find their name.
I also think if you decide not to have a seating plan and people can sit where they will, where they want.
People run in Bagsy good spots.
Yes, but also people won't fill tables, so you'll end up having to have more tables.
Well, you just wouldn't, would you? People would just
you'll get like
to.
2 3s on a table of 8, and then there's another 3 that's just stood there like a lemon, and it just, oh my god, the chaos would drive me potty.
I think personally, if you weren't having a table plan, you'd need a coordinator to sort that out for you. Yeah, it's not something you can leave people to do on their own.
Or it'd be easier trestle tables because you can just shuffle up.
Yeah, trestle tables it would be a lot easier. But I think if you want, your people closest to you,
don't not do a table plan. That's a silly idea.
Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't.
Yeah,
I just don't know why you wouldn't do a table plan personally. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's it for table plans.
I think you might be right.
I mean, if any of you have got any questions about table plans or have any sort of like ideas, things that you've done, we'd love to hear what you've done. We'd love to hear what your what your table plans look like and different sort of unique ways that you did it. That we also would love if you could like, comment, subscribe, review, follow us, like whatever it is you can do. We would love your support because having that engagement and having you guys here just means the world to us. So like, if you can support, share us far and wide, we would really appreciate it because we love doing it.
I feel like we're like a real podcast / YouTube thing when you say that, and that's what I was doing there.
Yeah. Well,
do it for real.
I know. The thing is we don't advertise it as much as we should, But I do think genuinely, you know, we're not professionals, but it's useful. Like my friends have said to me, God, I've never thought about that with like weddings. And I think until you've planned a wedding, a lot of these things you would never even think about.
Nope.
So I hope that you guys find it useful. I mean, we're going to keep coming back even if you don't.
Tough.
Because we just love talking about weddings. But yeah. So yeah, please do like, comment, subscribe, all of the above, review us, whatever you can do to help us out. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Yep, for this episode. So for now, I'm Philippa.
I'm Hayley.
This was Confetti Conversations, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.